Computer. Okay. Just so everybody knows we're recording. By show of hands, if you can, I don't know, maybe just give me a thumbs up or put your cameras on. And how many of us have games or things to go to before 11 o'clock? Are we able to? Is there anybody that has to leave? What time do you have to leave, Tommy?
11:30.
11:30. Okay, so you'll be okay for this. Anybody else have to leave before 11? Okay. What time you got to leave, bud?
11.
Okay, right at 11. Okay. So I'm hoping we can kind of go through a review of what we did last month and then talk about some new principles and then maybe sprinkle in some stuff I've been working with Shamar with, and he can introduce himself and talk about what it is that he does and where he plays and how he's doing. Do you want to do that now, Shamar? I know you're just kind of driving. Do you want to pop in and just say hello to the kids and tell them, a little bit about yourself, where you played growing up, and or do you want to wait till you pull over? Oh, we can't hear you, buddy.
Hear me now?
Yeah, there you go, bud.
Okay, awesome. All right, well, my name's Shamar Moses, and I play for the North Bay Battalion. I grew up playing for the Don Mills Flyers for 7 years, and I was recently just traded from Barrie about a month ago. So things have been pretty new here in North Bay, and been going pretty good so far. And that's just a little bit about me. I'm in my draft year this year, so that's super exciting, and look forward to that. But look forward to chatting with you guys.
It's good, man. We really appreciate a player like you being on a chat like this, and thanks to the kids for showing up too to listen
Yeah,
to.
thanks for having me.
Yeah, no, it's all good stuff, man. What's something, I'll get into kind of what I'm doing, but
Yeah.
what are you noticing between, playing minor hockey for Don Mills to having to make the jump? Is there something that stands out of you or a couple things that you had to really improve on to be able to, I mean, a lot of kids get
Yeah.
drafted and picked. Is there something that you need to do to stick at that level?
I mean, I don't want to say everything changes, but it's like almost everything does change. So it's a lot of getting used to, and the busy schedule of traveling, and there's workouts every day. You're practicing multiple times a day, so it can be a grind. But I mean, the biggest difference for me was just that, just building the habits and getting used to the new lifestyle kind of thing. And it's fun and it's nice being around the boys, but it can be a grind sometimes. When you're about a few months in the season and you just want to go home and everyone wants to go home, but kind of got to stick it out and keep playing. So I just say the biggest thing is building the habits so you can just put yourself in places to succeed all the time.
That's a huge point. I'm glad you said that because as a coach, that's what I prided myself on was building good habits with my athletes. It's the little things
Yeah,
like going around a cone instead of stopping in front of it or
yeah,
doing these drive-bys or being attention to the small details like good
yeah,
stick
for sure.
habits, right? Or being able to move your feet in certain situations or not being selfish and trying to go east-west, but keep
Yeah.
moving the puck north and it depends on what the coach's strategy or goals are, but the habits
And,
are
and
a huge thing. Yep.
that's another big thing too, for sure. I mean, every practice is so detail oriented to the point where like you mess up the smallest thing, like the coach is going to blow down the whole drill and let you know what you messed up in front of everyone. So
Right.
you kind of got to start to build those practice habits early because if you don't, be you'll be hearing it for sure. And Sundays we'll practice, but you'll get called out for in a long drill and uh, just things like that. Building the habits, like I said, is so important.
You got a little pixelated there, but we think we got the gist of that.
Yeah, true.
It's such a difficult thing for players to adjust to because we're always used to being able to pull off certain moves
Yeah,
and then all of a sudden the script it flips and now you have to really hone in on what it is that the coach wants you to do at that moment. So those habits are
yeah.
huge. Have you ever lost your confidence or not felt good about your game before, Shamar?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, trust me, I definitely have, and I think it's something that's normal for everyone. I mean, you're not always going to be playing your best hockey, so just being able to bounce back, and Corey's so great for that, and he's a resource obviously we all have here. So we're all so fortunate to have that. But it's yeah, it happens a lot, and don't be surprised if it happens because there's a lot of when you're trying to play to such expectations, and I'm sure everybody has their coaches and their parents who expect them to play at a high level, and even yourself. So sometimes you're not going to play to that level, and that's all right. It's just making sure that you do the little things right at that time, and make sure you're just keeping level headed for sure.
It's almost like an acceptance piece too. Like you have to understand that confidence is going to come and go. And I know we talked a little bit about that in previous chats where it's
Yeah,
confidence
yeah,
is it's this polarizing thing where when we have it, we want to hold on to it near and dear, and then when it goes away, we're like, no, so you get
yeah,
this graspy kind of, this feeling which we want to kind of get rid of and stay away
right.
from, right? So,
100%.
what do you find helps build your self-belief in yourself in terms of preparation? I know you talked a lot about journaling, and I've got some notes that you write down, but are you willing to share
Yeah.
some of the pearls that you're doing before games and stuff?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. So yeah, before every game, I usually pull out a journal. It's about like 10 minutes before warm up. I'll right before I get dressed, I'll just write in it, and it'll just be a few things I want to do in the game, and it'll be little things like finishing hits tonight, and getting shots on net, and moving your feet and to beat defenders, or just the little things that I want to do to my game that I know every game I want to display. So that just kind of helps me, have it in my mind, and it's in the back of my head when I'm playing, or it's kind of like I got to finish this hit and not turn off kind of thing. And I mean, along with that, just to build the confidence back, sometimes it's just thinking about all the work you put in before previously and just trusting in yourself. Like, there's not much more you can do to change your game at that moment in time. So just going back and thinking about in the summer, all those states you did, and the dry land and extra work you put in and all those hours, you just kind of got to think back and trust in your training, and believe in yourself.
Right. That's good stuff, man. And you and I talked this week about
Yeah,
building out our top 100. Um,
yeah,
Again, it's such an important thing to get, your successes, big or small, whether you were younger or older, down on paper, so that you can refer to that experience when your confidence is waning, right? When it's
right,
up and down. So,
right.
um, and I wrote down some of the stuff. Do you mind if I share some of what you?
No, go for it. Go for
All
it.
right. So he wrote, "You're a shooter and beat guys wide, finish checks, puck on stick, shoot more, be physical." So these are some of the things that he's writing down before games. It just kind of helps him zone in on what he brings to the table because it's easy for us to worry about external things. What are some of the things that you worry about? Um, DuPont just joined us too. Hey, Lando. Yeah, just wondering what are some things that you fret about, or even to this day, or when you were younger, what'd you worry about that weren't really in your control?
Yeah, I mean, I think just sometimes worrying about your peers too much. I mean, especially looking back to my minor midget year, my draft year, for the OHL, it was just a lot of everyone comparing people to people, and you're just kind of worrying about what other people are doing when there's nothing you can do to control that at all. You can only control yourself, and there's a lot of outside noise when it comes to hockey, and there's a lot of people, rumors that go around, and people say a lot of stuff. So just staying level headed and focus on yourself is just so important because there's just so much outside noise that's always going on that you just kind of got to block out.
Huge point, Shamar. Right now, they just released open borders,
Yeah,
and rumors are flying around everywhere, and it's left everybody feeling a little unsettled and a little uneasy. But I think
yeah,
what you're talking about is instead of, and we discussed this too, instead of it being a have
yeah,
do be model, it's a be do have model. So it's
right, right,
inside out is what we want to focus on instead of that outside in. Um, and a lot of hockey players, in terms of sports psychology and their mindsets, we focus on everybody else. Where are you going? Where are you training? How many spring teams you playing on? How often? Like we get wrapped up in this external stuff
Right.
And it's taking away from time that we could be building on ourselves, right? How are we going to show up? What are we going to bring to the table? How are we going to improve? What's our own authentic pathway or journey,
Yeah.
right? And that comparison trap can be very, very dangerous because I found that it brings out jealousy in people
Yeah.
and then
For sure.
envy, and that kind of chips away at your armor. If you think of this exterior armor that we have, if we're always worried about what other people have that we don't, parts of us start to fall off. That shield gets weaker, and then it ends up affecting our own self-belief, right?
Yeah.
So, the I find that with the comparison trap too, and I've taught this before, it's okay to look up a little bit, right? Are there any players,
Yeah.
are there any players on your team that you look up to just a little bit where you're not jealous of what they have, but maybe they're doing something a little bit more effective, or they bounce back easier, or they prepare a certain way that you're like, ooh, I want to take that little nugget. Do you find
Yeah.
that?
I mean,
Yeah, what do you think?
all the time, all the time. I
Nice.
mean, especially in a league where it's like there's so many skilled players, and I've been fortunate enough to play with first round NHL picks and guys like that, where it's like you just gotta sometimes sit back and just watch them and admire them sometimes because they're so talented. And a guy on my team now, Ethan Procession, he was a third round pick to the Ducks, and he's just an unreal two-way player. Like the way he just plays on both sides of the puck so efficiently and uses his reach, his strength, and all that to his ability is it's so fun to watch, and he plays such a pro style game already at a lower level where it's like it's almost impressive how it stands out so much compared to everyone else.
Right. So kids, you could see in his voice, in his body language, when he's saying that messaging, that there is zero jealousy in that, right? It's almost like this is exciting. I get to, and we can use those statements, I get to statements. I get to watch this guy play on my team. I get to play with him. I get to watch him prepare. I get to watch him do the little things that make those players successful, right? Does anybody have any questions for Shamar right now? We can, I'm firing away because I'm enjoying this, but does anybody want to step in and ask him a question about maybe where he played growing up or what kind of player he is? Anybody? Shamar, are you still there or did you just jump off? I think I may have lost him. Maybe he'll jump back in. What do we think so far? I think he's just got cut off, but you liking the conversation so far? Is it good? Yeah? You like this sort of stuff? Would you be
Yeah,
interested more in me bringing out some other players like this so we can kind of pick their brain the odd time to see how they feel?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
All right. That's good. That's good. Yeah, because I was talking to
Sorry,
Akil,
like
Akil
out there.
Oh, that's okay, buddy. Yeah, no, we are just chit-chatting as a group. Kids are really, really enjoying your pearls of wisdom, which is great. So, we're talking about getting even some more on player on these chats would be awesome. Did anybody have any questions?
Yeah,
Luke, you got any questions or
Yeah,
Tibble?
I got a
Man?
question. Okay, go ahead, Mace. Um, how does he deal with the game if like it's not going his way?
So Shamar, I don't know if you heard that or not, but when things are
yeah,
not going your way, how do you feel or how do you stay with it?
yeah. That's a great question. I mean, me and Corey have worked on that so much, and that was something I didn't really have going into the OHL. But since chatting with Corey, I mean, I can proudly say that everything I kind of know is from him, and I use a lot of those methods he's taught me, and it's usually just something simple where it's like I'm taking a squirt of water, and that's kind of a bit of a metaphor for the anger I'm feeling inside. And once I spit it out, I kind of just let it all go, and that's kind of a fresh start for me. Or maybe just a squirt of water in the face, and just kind of remind yourself, like I said before, like all the hours you put in and stuff like that, where it's just you've trained so hard for this, and you've trained so hard to succeed. Where it's you just got to trust yourself and just kind of bounce back and just try to do the little things to get back into the game. Where it's finishing a hit here and just chipping a puck to get it out the zone kind of thing. And once you start kind of building your confidence back and all that stuff is when you can kind of try to play your game again.
It's a great answer, man. I'm just writing down something that you just said. It's like when you're struggling, you get back to doing the little things. And I think that most hockey players do the complete opposite. It's like we
Yeah,
struggle and then it's like, oh, now I'm going to take on everything. I've got to score. I've got to take,
yeah,
lead the team and win this for everybody. But it's about getting back to the little things.
right.
What are some little things that you pride yourself in, Shamar, when you play? Like, what do you like about your game?
I mean, just advancing pucks, like I said. I mean, that's probably the simplest thing I can think of here. Just get the
Oh, just hold on a sec, buddy. You got a little choppy there. Can you say that
that
again?
game. That I go.
There you
Okay.
go.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry. Just advancing pucks. I mean, that's a big one for me is just to start to kind of get the flow going as a winger. And it's so important to not turn over pucks at the blue line. So I usually just try to start with that and just trying to carry the puck on my stick when I have time and space just to get the feel for it in the game. But, some plays like get deep and then finish hits and forechecking, turning over pucks and just little things where you can kind of control your work ethic at all times is something that'll help you kind of bounce back and get that confidence back.
I love it. Anybody else have a question popped into your head? Tibbles, you got anything for him, man? What do you think, bud? Nothing yet? Um, just looking around the board to see if there's any hands that are up. How do you I know that power play and PK time. Oh, there's another one waiting there we go, just admitting another player. We're just talking about power play, PK, special teams, that sort of stuff. Very polarizing too, because a lot of hockey players equate, well, I'm on the power play, on power play one with success. Um, how do you deal with that when I mean, you and I talked this week, you were on PP1 and then I think you've moved down or you were on the first line, and then you moved to second. What is it that, how did you feel, first of all, in that moment? And, what do you do to get back to where you think you should be?
Yeah. So I was playing on the first line the first probably 15 games here ish, and then the coach decided to move me to the second line, and I mean I just took it as a positive. I never really looked at it as a negative from the start. I just tried to make the most of the situation, and I kind of looked at it as a viewpoint from I was on the first line with like I mentioned Ethan before the Anaheim pick and another really talented player Owen Van Steensel, and they're both big shooters, so they take a lot of shots and moving to the second line for me, I took that as I'm going to be the shooter now, and I'm going to start taking the shots. And ever since then, that's kind of what's been going on, and I've been shooting way more and been have the puck on my stick a lot more. So I just took it as a positive right from the start and tried to make the most of it.
That's great, man. And what he's doing, kids, is called vicarious experience. So what Shamar's doing is looking at other players on his team and he's noticing that they're having some success and that he's realizing that he can live vicariously through them and have some success himself. So in doing that, that's a tip and a strategy that we worked on to help build his self-worth. Okay. I want us to get away from that confidence word because it's very polarizing. Like I said, it's very east-west where we're always striving towards praise and we're running away from getting criticized. So it's this, you're always looking over your shoulder thing versus understanding that it's just information and feedback that you get when you listen to coaches and they're telling you things, right? So just live through that vicarious stuff. Start to build your self-worth. Shamar, something just popped into my head. How important is it to learn the game? Like a lot of kids are hitting the skills and they're going to 10 and everybody can, oh, the hands out I see now and the skill work is through the roof. There's a skill sky everywhere you turn. But I feel like we're missing opportunities to learn the game. So how important do you feel it is to know what you're doing out there in terms of yeah, positional play and systems?
I mean, I almost want to say it's everything. Like it's so important and it's so vital. It's something that once you get to the next level, it's all you're talking about. It's learning the game, and everybody's always talking hockey, and you're always doing video, and you're always watching yourself, and it's so important. It's so important, and building the hockey IQ. I mean, that's just the most important part of hockey these days. Is it's that and speed. It's just being able to make plays at the right time and just having the knowledge and all that in your back pocket to be able to react to all sorts of situations is so important. And it's something that's something that you should be working on for sure. And it's probably more important than the skill session sometimes, as much as that's just as important. It's everything. And as you just get on and go on to higher levels, it means more and more each time. So definitely something that's super important.
And yeah, I was always a coach too that I tried to find a balance with my feedback. I was always firm, fair, and consistent, and that was my thing. I showed up as the same coach, same iteration every single time. Not every coach is like Coach Corey, where it's like I'm meeting the needs of everybody. Sometimes I need to hold a hand, sometimes I need to talk to a parent with the kid or show video or positive encouragement, and sometimes it's got to be firm. And I found a good balance having been a teacher for 20 years, 20 plus years now, that I was able to do that successfully. But not everybody out there, not every coach that you get is similar to me with my approach. How do you find or how do you deal with different coaches? Because now you've had a few different ones. I'm sure you've had really nice ones, and maybe there's some quiet ones or some ones that are barking. I don't know what your guy like is like now in North Bay. I don't want to throw him under the bus, but how do you deal with different coaches giving you feedback all the time?
Yeah. You just got to be very accepting of it all the time. I mean, whether it's positive or negative, it's gonna be tossed at you. And I learned that in Barrie. My first year, I had a coach by the name of Marty Williamson, who is an unreal coach. He over 1,000 games in the league, one of the most well respected coaches in the OHL. But he's pretty tough sometimes on me and on everyone. It's just because he cares, but it was tough sometimes at the start. Like I was just learning. I was just going out there trying to figure it out, and I was messing up a few things in practice, and he would stop the whole practice and light me up in front of everyone. But that was just his way of getting the message across. And he's just trying to kind of build that resilience out of you and build that toughness out of you. And that's just kind of something my teammates taught me, and I didn't really even realize at the start, but it just seemed like he was almost picking on me. But that's just the way he was trying to get his message across. And that even when you're in it mid game and you kind of mess up, he's kind of one of those guys who's going to be on you and he's probably going to yell at you. So you just kind of got to figure out how to work around that. And for me, I mean, I'm a guy who tries to use his skill in the game a lot. And as a 16-year-old in the league, sometimes you're not pulling off the moves how you used to, but you kind of just got to stick to your game sometimes, as cliche as it sounds. But even if you're messing up here and there, if that's your game and that's how you play, then so be it. If you kind of make that turnover the odd time when you're trying to make a move, but if that's your game, that's your game, and you got to stick to it and trust yourself and believe in your abilities.
Great answer. And I'm picking up a few things as you're saying that always link to concepts that you and I have talked about before. So I don't know if you caught it or not, kids. He said, the coach can be hard on me, but he cares, right? So the delivery mechanism, the way they share that information with you might be harsh, but those are just words. The underlining thing is that those coaches care. They care about their athletes. Um, they care about their progress. They care about how they feel, right? And they want to make sure that you go to school and you're doing what you need to do to become not just good hockey players, but even better people. So the sports psychology tip for that is called filtering. So you've all made pots of pasta before with spaghetti, I'm sure, pre-game meals. You get the pot ready to go, and the noodles are done boiling, and then you pour it into a sieve. And what happens? All the water that you don't need goes down the drain, and what's left in the sieve? All the good stuff that you need, right? So this is a similar metaphor. Shamar talked about metaphors, but this is the way we filter from our coaches. So that information comes in, and I want you to start plucking all of the good things from that. And then maybe the attitude he gave you, or, she might have been frustrated with you. You can let that stuff filter through that sieve and let it go so it doesn't affect you and your self-worth. Because there's another psychology thing. We need to make sure that we differentiate between your identity and who you are versus your performance, your actions, your behavior. Okay. the performance and identity is two different things. Just because you play poorly does not make you less of a human being. Okay. And a lot of hockey players, they get that mixed up. It's all intertwined and they think, well, I didn't play well. I suck. Well, you don't suck. You're a great human being. So make sure the two are separate and understand that when coaches are giving you that good messaging to take those nuggets and the pearls of wisdom to make your game better and then filter out maybe the fact that they're firm with you or screaming at you. Don't take it to offense, just trying to teach and learn, right? Does that make sense? Good, good. All right. Now, with the young kids, Shamar, they've got a lot of social things that they're going through as well. Like, you go from a new team into a new dressing room, or maybe you move from AA to AAA. Um, what are some things that you can do to kind of just fit in socially and have some success within the dressing room? Because I know there's a code in hockey, right? The room is a big part of
Yeah.
our performance and how we feel and stuff. How do we utilize that to feel good about ourselves? Is there anything that you do in the room that makes you feel good?
Yeah, I mean, it's always tough moving to a new team for sure. I mean, that was something I kind of experienced for the first time with North Bay, kind of getting traded over mid-season is it's a different feeling for sure. And I was always a guy on Don Mills for 7 years, so I never really moved from there. But coming to North Bay was a new experience for me, and it's I want to just say be yourself. Don't try to be someone you're not, and
Mm.
you don't want to have to put on a character every time you get to the rink and just to fit in with all the guys. But at the same time, it's just trying to chat to everyone and kind of pick their mind sometimes and just have conversations with your teammates so that you're kind of more of a likable person for everyone and just try to engage and be a supportive teammate and if you're a leader on the bench sometimes you can bring those qualities over and that's something I've tried to do since I've been here and just being a good teammate overall is just going to make you a likable person so that's what I tried to do.
That's great. That's great. Be authentic, right? And be yourself. You and understand too, and it's an acceptance piece. You're not going to fit in with everybody, and you're not going to be liked by everyone. But if you are yourself, then you're much more likely to build those genuine relationships with people because people can see through the crap, right? And you see this all the time. There are dressing rooms where people come in and they're like, "Oh, I'm the big cheese. I blew up that kid. I got this many genos." Like that annoying. Um, I don't know. It's like unwarranted sense of self-esteem is frustrating and it's off-putting for people, right? So like Shamar says, go into the room, be yourself. I would suggest that when you're in there every single time, practice our games to practice gratitude. Sometimes with high pressure games and practices, we can start to, focus on the fear and the what ifs, but you can't have fear and gratitude at the same time. It's physiologically not possible. So if we can choose to be grateful for what we have, the people we're surrounded with, how we're going to learn, and then start talking about owning your greatness and how you're going to show up, that's the right mindset to take within the dressing room. And I like that pick minds, right? Go around, ask some questions. People like helping other people, right? So that's a good way to build trust within your teammates for sure. Um, Shamar, like you've got a lot on your plate, right? You've got to go to school, you're dealing with agents this year, draft year. How do you balance all of that? How are you finding it going through it? I know you're probably used to it now, but were there some struggles and what did you do to get a little bit more grounded as you went through that process?
Yeah, no, there's definitely a lot of struggles at the start. I mean, especially starting out my rookie year in Barrie, it was tough to kind of find the balance because school and hockey and all that it is a lot. It really is, and it's like I said before, building the habits. Like it's so important that you just kind of have a schedule for yourself where you know what you're doing every day, and it becomes routine. So it gets to the point where you can just do the same thing every day and you know what you're doing and it helps so much with that and just having that schedule will just kind of help you not have to kind of friggin' rip out homework on the boss or wasting time on extra stuff so just kind of having that schedule is super important for sure.
And we got to get it done too.
Yeah,
Like we don't always want to do homework. I don't always like I say that when I'm teaching too. I'm like, I don't always want to be here. I want to be home watching Netflix in my pajamas, man. But you got to get it
yeah,
done. You're
yeah.
home, you've got chores, you've got things to do. Putting out recycling, taking care of an animal, doing whatever you got to do, packing your gear, preparing, eating well, sleeping well, hydrating well. All those things that make you a better human being are the habits that Shamar's talking about. They're very, 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 very important as you go through your careers. All right, I'll stop real quick. Is there anybody that has a question about his career, about his points, about what he wants to do going forward, about playing in the G? All right, we've got Karen's hand is up. What's your first name again, buddy?
Leo,
Yeah, that's right. All right, man. What do you got for Shamar? What do you think?
when you were like a kid, which team did you want to be on?
In
Growing up.
the OHL or NHL?
OHL.
I'd say growing up, I mean, the London's kind of where everyone wants to go. It's a sixth spot, and they got about 9,000 seats. They kind of sell out pretty much every night, which is unreal. And I mean, the first time I played there, I was so nervous. I couldn't even keep myself from shaking. And during the anthem, I was getting chills. And sold out 9,000 people. It's a lot of people, and they got a really rich history there, and they produce a lot of really high NHL picks and NHL stars. So I'd say that's kind of the spot where everyone wants to go. To be honest, it's a pretty cool spot and pretty nice city too.
I guess at that point you're happy to be drafted by anybody, but there are
Yeah, yeah.
some teams that are legit. I already got another hand up. Go for it, little buddy. What do you got?
How's the G?
How was the G? Like we're
Yeah, I mean
a lot of us
it's
in
a
the O.
very competitive league for sure. I mean it's a lot of good talent, and it can be a pretty political league though as well at the same time. To be honest, there's a like we said, there's a lot of distractions, and there's a lot of chatter in the league. But I mean, I loved playing in the GTHL all my years, and it was great. And Don Mills was so amazing for me. So, um, yeah, I mean, it's a pretty fun league, and if you want to go over, I'd say it'd be a good decision.
Challenging, but yeah,
Yeah,
that's
for
what we
sure.
want too. Is everything's a challenge, but that's excellent. Any others? What going forward, Shamar? What team would you want to get drafted by in the NHL?
Oh, I mean, I've always grown up a Montreal fan, so that might
Oh
that
my
might that might
gosh, I
upset
didn't
some
know
people
this.
in the chat, but it's true, and it's
Interview's
probably where
over.
where I'd want to get drafted. Yeah, if
I'm
I, if
just
I could
kidding.
choose a team.
Yeah, I guess at that point that would be sick too. Montreal,
Yeah,
Toronto, any of those, they got tons
yeah,
of
exactly.
history, like you said. That's great, man. All right, so what's one thing, a couple more here for you. What's one thing that you wish you knew when you were younger, man?
Oh,
Tough
that's
one.
a great
'Cause they're
question.
young, right? And
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
know. Geez, you look back, you think, huh, I wish I knew that.
yeah. I would say just stick to the process. I mean, so much is going to change as you guys get older, and you guys still have so much maturing to do, and everyone's going to change so much still, and there's so much skill to be developed still, and it's gonna a lot is gonna change. I mean, there's a lot of guys who grew up top guys, and it changes as you get older. And I was never really one of those top guys growing up, but as I got older and as I matured, it started to change. And the more work I was putting in, sometimes you don't really see the results right away, but you realize you think about a year or two ago where you were, and you're like it changed so much, and I got so much better, and you don't even realize, but you're just building and building and building. So just stick to the process, and you're going to get the results if you put the work in at the end of the day.
That's great. That's good stuff. All right. Anybody else got anything for Shamar? Going once. Going twice. Anybody? All right. Well, that's a good 40-minute sesh. Oh, did he pop off again? He's cutting out. He's driving back from Sudbury. What do you kids think, man? You excited about that? That's so cool. I think those are such great pearls of wisdom, you know? Um, Shamar, if you're back on, thanks very much, man.
Yeah.
I can't thank you enough. Kids, what do you have to say? Unmute, say
Thank
thanks,
you.
Shamar, man.
Thank you.
Of course, guys. Of
Thank
course.
you.
Thanks for having
Thank
me.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for
And
talking with us.
you've got a bunch of fans now in Southern Ontario who are going to be cheering you on when you come into
Right
town,
on.
buddy. Yeah.
Right on. Right on. That's so awesome.
And the draft year, we wish you nothing but the best. You've got a great head
Thank
on your
you.
shoulders. You're so well spoken, and I know from our sessions we've done, you're just a mature kid, and I think you've got all the stuff, buddy.
Thank you
Yeah.
very much.
You're
Thank
welcome,
you
man.
so much.
Thanks for jumping on, man.
Of course. All right. You guys have a nice holiday and Merry Christmas.
You too,
For the
buddy.
holiday, guys. Yeah, right on.
All right,
Thank
buddy.
All right.
you.
Thanks
All
very
right.
much. We'll
Thank
talk to
I'll
you
be in
soon,
you.
buddy.
touch, Corey. I'll see you soon.
Okay, man. Sounds good. Let me know.
Thank you.
Thank
Sounds
you.
good.
All
See you
right, kids.
guys.
Thank you.
We're gonna
Yeah.
hang on, kids,
Bye.
that for a bit. You don't have to leave just yet if you don't want to. I wanted to show. What do you think, man? Let's talk. I know that he's jumped off. How do you feel? Any feedback? No,
I feel pretty good.
pretty good about it. Good, Lukey. Yeah. Do you get value from what he's talking about? Does it kind of make your shoulders drop and you understand the importance of the small things, the habits, staying in your lane, staying on course, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's so huge because we do get wrapped up with all this external stuff. But there was one thing that he talked about, focusing on the process, and I just want to jump onto and share my screen if I can find it. It's this one. All right, let me know when you can see it.
Yep.
Okay, thank you. Crook, you can be my go-to. Now, this wasn't the slide that I wanted to show you. I had a whole bunch of stuff there that we are going to kind of go through, but I think talking to him was so important. Um, and we can go over these slides next time around. What I did want to show you one of them because it's a really cool kind of visual. This was the one I was talking about with building confidence and this living vicariously. That was number two. We can talk about that next time as well. This is what I'm looking for. Who could tell me what the image is on the left side?
Like a vending machine?
It's a vending machine, exactly. And what about the image on the right side?
A gambling thing.
A gambling thing. What do we call it?
A slot machine.
There you go. It's a slot machine, right? Now, when Shamar was talking about the process, I wanted for you to understand what that really means. Okay. And one side is expectations and another one is reality. Now, I'm not in any means or no shape or form telling you to gamble or go gamble, and that's a good thing. That's not what this is about, but it's just an extreme example of how we're focused. And the problem is that we're a little bit entitled, a little bit spoiled with getting results right away. So what I mean by that is the vending machine is very transactional. Okay. We put money in, and what happens? We get something out. So that's the way we kind of expect hockey to be. It's like, okay, well, I'm working hard, training hard, sleeping well, eating nutrition, mental training. I'm putting in all those things. Well, I should get results. I should get power play time, PK time, shutouts, wins and losses. It's very transactional. But is that reality? No. So the reality of hockey is that we don't know how things are going to actually unfold, right? We don't know how things are going to unfold. There's a lot of uncertainty with our performance and how we play and how things are going to unfold. So what I do is I like to challenge my athletes to um, invest, okay, and lean into the hope. You wouldn't play a slot machine like this either, where you walk by and you just kind of drop in a little bit of money, you kind of pull it and you don't win and then you leave. No, that's not how hockey works either. You don't just put in a little bit of effort and then take off. The reality is in hockey that we've got to buckle up, we've got to sit down, we've got to lean into the hope, and we got to show up every day and pull that lever. every day. Add to the bank, add to the machine, pull the lever every day, and then see how it unfolds and enjoy that ride, right? Sometimes you get the seven, the cherries, and the dollar sign, and it doesn't link up and you don't win. Does that mean you get up and leave or quit? No. You put you add to the bank again. Well, I did some mental training today, or I worked hard at this, and you keep adding to that. And every day you lean into the hope that something good might happen. And when it does, you celebrate those things. And then you go right back to work and you do the same thing again. So that's a huge distinction between the two. And I wanted you to kind of see this um, visual, play the odds, bet on yourself, lean into the hope, invest into that, show up every day, do what you got to do. And that aligns a lot with what Shamar was talking about today with the process, adding to the banks, staying in your lane means showing up and working hard, adding to that every single day. And then eventually you might get picked, right? And you might have some success. Does that make sense, that slide? Good. All right. Well, we're pushing 50 minutes here. I could stick around if you've got questions or if you want to, ask me about my playing career and that sort of stuff. You can always do that as well. I had a similar experience with hockey. I didn't go the OHL route. I went the NCAA route. I got a Division I scholarship and played pro. He's talking about 9,000 fans in London. I had the same experience in Wichita, Kansas, playing in the old IHL. It was the UHL when I played, but yeah, great opportunity, and you kids will get there too. Do you have any questions for me, kids? How are you feeling? We've been doing these now for a few months. Oh, someone else is waiting to come in. You guys finding them beneficial and it helps a little bit with what you're feeling out there? Yeah, good to go. Seeing a lot of thumbs up. Excellent. Please, I'll remind you again, okay? I am in your corner, okay? And I know you're all here and you're all members, but if you need me, just text me, okay? You can shoot a text or a DM on social, or it doesn't matter how big or small it is what you're going through. Sometimes you just need a third party. And you heard from Shamar, what we talk about is really helping him. And he said, I don't know if you caught it either. He said, but as I was going into the OHL, I didn't know anything, right? I had no tools before talking about this sort of stuff with me. So I don't want you to be in that situation where you get there and you don't know what's going on or how you're feeling or have any tips. So that's why we do these things every month. We've got January and February, so two left. I'm hoping I'm going to get Akil Thomas from the Los Angeles Kings to join us, and we can kind of do a similar chat with him. He said he would jump on, and hope that's beneficial for you kids. Okay. Good luck today, and if you're playing, go kick some butt. It's close to 11, which is fine. I'll stick around if you want to do a little Q&A with me. That's all good. Reach out. Have a great holiday, and I appreciate you all for being here, okay? You feel good? Ready to roll? Nice.
Yeah.
All right, boys. Well,
Thank you.
enjoy your
Thank
season.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Merry
Thank you.
Christmas.
Thank you.
Merry
Happy holidays,
Christmas.
guys.
Merry Christmas.
Merry
Christmas,
Christmas.
celebrate. Awesome. Yep, you too. Yeah, buddy. Anybody got a question for me or what? What's this all about? What are we doing here? What's this?
Triangle.
Triangle, rectangle, square, squirrel. All right, boys.
Thanks, Corey.
Welcome, man. Thank you, Crook. You have a good day today, bud.
Thank you.
Yeah, buddy.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Bye, Coach Corey. Merry
Yeah, bud.
Christmas.
You too. Back to see you, buddy.
Bye.
Later.
Thank you, Coach Corey. Have a nice
You.
Christmas.
Thank you. Merry Christmas, guys. We'll see you soon.
See ya. Merry Christmas.
Bye.
Bye.
Hang on, Mace. Okay, go brush your teeth.
See you, bud. How's it going, Matt?
Oh, I thought. Oh, there we go. I'm doing well. How are you?
Good, man. Just
Sorry, the triangle. The triangle's our zone entry. So the
Ah.
kids all have. It's like, the
I love
kids
it.
have it all taped on there. They draw it on their stick with a Sharpie, and
Wicked.
yeah.
How's the squad doing?
Yeah, good. We're third right now. So
Oh, nice. Good for
and
you.
I think we've lost one, and then we've won two tournaments this year.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we've lost one in the last, I think, 11 or 12. So
Oh,
doing
you're
well.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
that's great, man. Well,
yeah, these are great sessions, man. We really appreciate them.
oh, wonderful. Excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah, just keep giving me feedback and I'll tweak and adjust as necessary. I'm trying to keep them engaged, so that's great to
Yeah.
hear.
We
Now,
gave our team gave them all journals, hockey journals with a bunch of lists of like potential questions they could write for themselves before games, like 3 things that could go wrong, how you deal with them, 3 things that go right. So I
wonderful.
think I know my kid uses it all the time, but good.
That's good stuff, bud. All right.
Yeah.
Well, enjoy the day, man. I appreciate the
Yeah.
feedback.
All right, appreciate it.
All right, man. Talk soon.
Have a good day.
Bye.